No, so I mean, like I said, just met these guys. Hopefully, they probably didn't hear nothing we were talking about. Nothing I said for the last few minutes. But
Okay, I think
it's
we got it.
definitely good to be here. Hopefully, you guys can hear
Cool.
me a little bit crystal clear now. Episode 6.
Yes,
I think I
sir.
just popped up. Okay.
Okay, I think we're chilling now. We'll wait a second for chat to respond,
Yep. Yep.
but I think
Spam
I
those comments. Let us know so we can get to the goods because we got some goods to get to.
we do, bro.
Oh
We
yeah.
do. Let
Let's
me
get it.
let's just make sure that we got this dialed in real quick. But I think we're chilling. Good. Okay,
Everybody's
we are
pouring
good,
in.
bro.
Okay.
My bad,
Let's
guys. I
go.
thought I had it dialed
Take
in.
2.
We are chilling. All right, we can
Yes.
we can start.
Yo,
Okay,
E, you
bro.
look
That is.
so stressed, bro. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
He was
gosh.
cooking right there. He was
Yo,
cooking.
I
you
was
were cooking,
trying.
E. You were cooking,
I
bro.
was trying so hard to figure this out. I'm gonna make a story. I'm gonna make a story real quick, letting everyone know that Jason is in here with us.
Yeah.
What is
Oh
up,
yeah,
And
guys?
shoot. I should
What
probably
is
do the
going on,
same
guys? We
thing.
got Jason with us as a guest
Oh,
on the live stream,
I
so
don't even
make
know
sure
where
to
he's
pull
at.
up.
He's over
So
yeah.
there.
we can let everyone know that Jason is with us because we're excited to have
Yes.
him on. I'm glad the audio is working now. We could hear
Happy
him.
to be here.
Yes, sir, bro.
Happy to be here.
So real quick, Jason, I wanted to just chop it up with you, man. You popped up and you're going crazy on social media, bro. And I met you at
Thank you.
AHR, and
Yes,
we
that was
met. I think
good.
it was at the Veto booth, no?
It was real quick. I think you know what? I just looked over. We were at the Viper booth and I just looked over my
Viper,
shoulder and you were there and I was like, man, like it was so interesting being there. Like
bro.
you look up and I just see all the people I would see on social media well before I started my content though. Before you even start your content, on my own personal Instagram, before I ever decided to pull the trigger, like you're watching all of these guys and meeting everybody in person was like super cool. I remember just
Bro.
looking over, you had your whole camera set up and I was like, okay, you always like even think to yourself like, you don't want to bug them. I'm gonna go hit him up. But then now it's like everybody's just boys and shit, and so it's just
Yeah,
it's
bro.
super cool. I met Andrew right there as well.
Yo.
Ryan, I get to see you next year for sure. I know we got
Sure.
some definitely some fun stuff planned.
Yeah, bro. It was awesome. All AHR, was that your first year?
First year, yeah, first year, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even supposed to be there all 3 days. Like my boss, they have a coupling. Like I know you guys have seen me post, so they were there just doing their thing. They've been there like many years, and they were like, "Hey, if you want to come to AHR and kind of scope out some products, anything that might benefit the company or tools that you think," and so I'm like, "Absolutely, I'll
Heck
come."
yeah.
Paid day of work just to cruise Vegas. Well, then like
Dang.
shortly before
That's
that,
awesome.
yeah, like I was like I heard all the tactical award show going on,
Yep.
so I kind of like wiggled my way to go all 3 days, and I just
Oh, did
like
you?
what an experience that was. So being like, I'm glad I did. You got to be there all 3 days.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely. All
yeah.
3 days is a
So
must for sure. So you
Yeah.
were able to make the award show.
I was not. I was
Okay.
not. I was not able to make the award show, but I was able to make the 3 days, and definitely was watching that thing live, watching all you guys. That was like a surreal experience for sure. Seeing
Nice,
like
bro.
everybody up there. You guys were just our boy Ant went there, took some hardware home. Ant does HVAC. That was cool. I was kind of rooting for him.
Yeah, heck yeah, bro. No,
he's a
it was
dog. He's a dog.
bro, it was awesome, bro. That experience was sweet, bro. AHR next year is gonna be even cooler, bro. I remember we were talking about like kind of getting together, all of us, bro. That'd be sick.
Chi-town?
Yeah,
It's the time to do it,
We
bro.
Let's
gotta
do it.
We're all there. Y'all gotta get together,
we all
bro.
gotta get an Airbnb.
Yeah, bro.
Airbnb question mark question mark?
Airbnb. Yeah,
Yeah,
little, and that's what I was saying in the comments
I
last
know.
week. Is it's basically like the creator summit. It's like
it is.
we always get to connect up. Just the same thing we do, kind of like not just us, but a lot of other content creators. Like they
Yep.
chat up in private. Want to just ask certain tips and whatnot, and it's just it all circles back to just like being able to connect, share information, whether that's AC knowledge and whatnot, but also on the content stuff. A lot of guys, I
Definitely.
sure ask you guys. I know I've asked you guys a bunch of questions. That's how you basically have to build. Is you have to same way we learned on the job site.
Yep.
asking
Exactly.
questions
I
and
say if
whatnot,
anything.
get the guys that have the information. You guys are a lot younger than me, but there's like a ton of things I learned from you guys. I mean, just the fact that couple of you guys have your own business, like when I would think about owning my own business, it almost like would seem like maybe daunting at one point. But then when you see a few of your peers showing you that it's possible, you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
actually in the cards for me.
Definitely, bro.
Hmm.
It's an awesome, and we're here to help each other. We're here to help each other, and we got questions. Anyone has questions, we're here to help them out and stuff. So it's cool. It's a cool community,
Yeah.
bro. One man HVAC, what up, bro? Getting here late, but we good guys.
So
What is up? Welcome, bro. Welcome. We
Yo,
appreciate you,
yo, Adrian said Jason off the job. I'm
Jason. Off
dead.
the
That's
job.
hilarious.
What's
Yeah,
up,
No, for
Adrian?
sure. He Adrian's
I
cool. No,
love
I was
that.
watching his pod and somebody was roasting me in the comments like, "Oh, is Jason off the job?" And I was letting them know that I got something coming for that. A little side series I'm kind of working on right now. So
Nice.
Jason off the job, yeah. So I'm
Yo,
trying
Heck
to
yeah,
I
figure
bro.
that
love
out for
that.
sure.
That's
I
gonna be
was just
fire.
about to
Just
say, bro, and that's the first thing that came into my head when I read that. I was like, Jason off
yeah.
the job. I was like, you might have something there.
He got something. He
Just like
cooking it.
after hours, this is the type of stuff, Jason off
Yeah,
the job, when you're just kind of home, get to relax,
Chilling.
see a
I
little bit
like that.
behind the cover, other stuff
that'd
that
be
you're
pretty cool.
into.
That'd be
Yeah,
good content, bro. It'd be good
yeah,
content to show your personality some more, what you're into and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's awesome, bro. Heck yeah. It's gonna be awesome. So, all right.
Love that.
Like the chat didn't hear, so we'll kind of ask you again, like, how's your guys' day been? Jason, you want to start off? Let us know like what you've been up to today.
Yeah, I mean, so light commercials, all the stuff that I do, so mostly installs and stuff. Today, we just rolled up on a new job site, so you just get a text from the boss, hey, this is the location. Of course, for me, so I live like about most of my work, all of it is mostly in Sacramento, right? But I live actually like 45 minutes outside of Sacramento. So boom, get the text, hour and a half out, you know, get out there. It's like a refrigeration. We got some refrigeration units going in. It's like apparently like a dairy processing facility. I was kind
Okay.
of posting that on my story as well.
Oh,
Nice.
I
And
seen that. That's fire.
yeah, so just yeah, laying out things, unloading some equipment, kind of just getting a lay of the land, kind of roughing in some pipe and whatnot. Me and Andrew were going back and forth. Like you had just we're touching some of that bigger pipe, the inch and eighths, inch and three eighths, and that's like in commercial, that's like a daily stuff for us, inch and
It's
eighth all
crazy.
day.
Yep. Crazy, bro. So
That's crazy.
that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome. Sweet, bro. So you're doing a lot of commercials. So in the commercial side of things,
Next.
you're doing a lot of installs. Are you retro? Or are you doing service too?
Yeah, so mostly, I mean, so I started my deal off like just doing sheet metal, that's when I first
Mm-hmm.
got into the trade. I was just doing
Nice.
sheet metal with the guys for like a year and a half, and then that was great experience. Then I kind of transitioned over to the install on like the refrigerant piping controls side of it, and so that's kind of where I've been at now. So mostly what I do, a lot of VRV, VRF installs, Daikin stuff, right? Um,
Nice.
and I would like to in the last year I've been picking up a little bit more service. We have like a large service department as well already, so I've been trying to transition, trying to pick up whatever I can, and because that's what I think is going to make you the most well-rounded. I've had a little bit of sheet metal time, a little bit of just install on different aspects. There's just a little bit of residential stuff, light commercial, like I said, the VRV VRF, that's a completely different ball game really.
Yeah.
And so just like I'm definitely trying to get into the service more this year as well.
Nice. Nice. That'd be awesome. Yeah, like you said, it'll fully round you. Good bits
Mhm.
of everything. That's awesome, bro. Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Sweet, bro. What about you, Andrew? What have you been up to today?
Like I was saying earlier, I had those 3 service calls at the restaurant in the morning. Got them up and running, and then went over to a resident's house and spent way too long looking for some bad common wires. So
Oh man.
yeah, it was a fun time. But again, everyone's up and running and cooling. Is that lady at that last call I went to? I walked in her house. It was 90 degrees.
Oof.
It was like
Um,
a little cooler because she had told us it was 90 degrees, but it went through the night. So but by the time I got there it was 84 degrees. So it wasn't much better, but yeah, it was.
Dang, bro. It's
I
hot in
felt
there.
bad for her, but got her up and running. She was excited, happy, smiling. That's exactly why I do this every day. So yeah,
Nice. Heck yeah,
pretty
bro.
much.
Sweet.
Sir,
About you, Ryan?
I had a little reset day. Been
Nice.
working the past 3, 4
need
weeks
that.
straight, so I had a nice little scrap day. like
Nice.
Earned.
$1,400.
Heck yeah.
And then I was just cleaning out all my tools, parts, and whatnot, reorganizing my storage unit, cleaning up.
Sweet,
Bro is a
bro.
dog.
Bro cashed out today. He took a
Bro
rest
is
day,
a
but still
dog.
cashed out.
You
Yes.
know that?
Yeah, Ariel, I look up to you guys. I'm 18 and a year in the HVAC trade, bro. We appreciate that, bro. Welcome to
Bro,
the
I look up to
stream.
you.
Yeah.
So
Welcome,
so
Ariel.
I saw you on your story today. You guys were did that ACIQ install.
Yes,
What
sir.
was
Yeah,
it?
so
Oh
today
yeah, E, how'd that
What was
go?
your first impressions?
Talk to us,
going
E. Talk to us.
so far going good, bro. We got the equipment this morning, shot to the job, and then staging everything. We got the condenser staged up with the pad. We ran the line set for the first unit. It's a 5-zone cassette
Yep.
system. One of the zones is going to be a wall-mounted mini split, which we got installed today. The other
Easy.
4 are cassettes. One's a one-way, 3 is a 4-way cassette. It's going good. So far it's going pretty good. Smooth job right now. The hardest part was running the line set for this mini split. That's what everyone was saying, but we got it done. It wasn't too hard. So if that was the hardest part, we're chilling. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Love
just
that. Get the hard part
penetrating.
out of the way first.
Exactly. Penetrating walls, penetrating the roof, all that stuff. So I'll be back on the site to, finish up throughout the week, filming some content for ACIQ, aced it, and I'm gonna post it on my YouTube. So we've been getting some good content, bro. It's been good.
Yeah, I love your YouTube,
E,
man. You
you're a
guys
I
got
dog.
like a
appreciate
whole
it,
It's
different
bro.
awesome.
format on there. A lot of stuff
Yeah,
on there.
I appreciate that. Have you guys done some work with ACIQ? Any of you guys?
Yeah,
think
I
we all
think
have, right?
Ryan, you just installed a little system too. I know I just installed like basically the same thing, a 4-zone wall mount
Nice.
heat pump. It was super cool. I wasn't sure what to expect. I just came across those people at AHR and connected up with the team over there. Super cool people, but again, you get a lot of people reaching out, and so I'm like, I never really heard of ACIQ before. But following, earlier in the year, kind of doing a little bit of research, I was like, okay, they do have some equipment. They have commercial stuff. I mean, they have heavy commercial equipment, a lot of stuff you wouldn't even think about. And so I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And surprisingly, I think they're actually made in the same factory as like Carrier. So don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty
I think
sure. So yeah,
Medea.
or media, yeah, you know what I mean. So exactly. I mean, they're a quality product for sure. So it was easy install, everything fired up. We had really no hangups, no issues. So I was pretty impressed, I'll say.
Nice. That's good. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
impression. Nice. What about you,
yeah.
I
C?
have a unit. I have a unit from I'm getting ready to install. Hopefully soon. Hopefully within the month. It's like I already have it. It's embossed and
Nice.
everything like that. But I'm just waiting
What
to
kind of
throw
unit?
her in there. It's a little baby unit. I think it's like a 2.5 ton split heat pump.
Mini split?
No, split system.
Oh, split system. Okay. Nice. Heck yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Trades?
yeah. So no, it'd be cool.
I just installed 2 5-ton air handlers and the heat pumps with
Dog.
it.
Nice. Heck yeah, bro. Sweet. Yeah, bro. We've been all busy, bro. We've been putting in that work for sure. I know I've seen you guys grinding,
Sure.
bro. Y'all were grinding. That's good, bro.
Trying.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna address the chat real quick. So I have a
Oh yeah.
furnace to clean in the attic this Saturday in Texas. Ooh, man, it's gonna be hot out there. I know for a fact. Sheesh, bro.
It's gonna start
But
warming up at the
Texas,
end of the week over
It
here.
it is, bro. Total HVAC. ACIQ is great. Just installed mini splits by them. Nice, bro. How's your experience been with them, bro? The
total.
apprentice.
That's my boy right there.
Oh, that's your boy. Heck yeah, bro. Welcome.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. The apprentice to journeyman. Keep grinding, fellas. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. That title, that name. Apprentice to journeyman. Heck yeah, bro. Unknown 409. I've been working at commercial buildings with P pneumatic control. I don't know how to pronounce that. Pneumatic. Have you heard of that, Jason?
Pneumatic
What is
controls.
it?
I think it's silent P, pneumatic.
Pneumatic controls.
No, I'm saying
Most.
the P I think is silent.
Oh,
Yeah, with
I think it's
pneumatic, like
pneumatic.
yeah,
pneumatic
controls,
control.
yeah.
Okay, controls. same components but somewhat different to residential. What should I do to help be more successful in residential? Um, so he's been working on pneumatic controls mostly, same components but somewhat different in residential. What should I do to help me be successful in
Yeah.
residential? What do you think, Jason? Going from
I
commercial
mean,
to
it's
residential.
yeah, I mean it's similar for sure, but going from commercial and residential, it's like if that's what you're getting at, basically. It is a completely different ballgame. I mean, like, and a lot of guys, commercial guys, want to like hate on residential guys, like it's for whatever reason they want to hate on. But like every time, so like I do mostly commercial, but every now and then my boss seems to like have another business owner who needs the system done. He's always like doing favors and whatnot, so we're always doing these houses for people, right? And I respect people that actually do residential on the day because they're actually it's just a completely different process. In commercial, we don't touch the high voltage. We don't touch the power, the plumbing coming in and out. We don't touch that. The condensate, even like disconnects. We don't touch none of that. The fire alarm, a lot of it's all just subcontracted out. It's not that we can't do it, it's just for like liability reasons, basically. In
Mm.
residential, you guys are there to do everything all in one in one day. Sometimes a couple installs in a day. You guys are doing the power, doing the condensate, doing everything, flashing sheet metal outside. For us, like in commercial, we have a sheet metal department, we have like different departments. So sometimes you can run some line set some equipment, and you're going to wait a week or 2 weeks for electricians to come and install power. You might be waiting another month for commercial. So basically, to tie into your question, like residential is the best, I think, because you're going to see a little bit of all of that every single day or every week versus in commercial, you're going to be stuck doing maybe like a certain task, could be insulating for a week straight.
Mm.
Sometimes that's how it is. Andrew, you know all about that. Just like
Ah,
Very hot
next
so like
question. I
take.
don't even want to talk about
yeah,
it.
and so I think residential is just like the quickest way to get basically those reps, just doing
Mm.
it, coming across different, every
He's
home
right.
is
He's
different,
right.
so just, zone systems in a house, 2 stories, whatever it is, you're gonna
100%.
get, just a lot more experience, I think,
I
and
like
commercial's
that.
great too. You get those different scale projects, right? But what do you guys think?
100%. Bro, that you just
No, yeah, I agree.
bro
You
spit
you hit
game
it
right
right on the
now.
head.
I agree
I
with
was
that
just
for
about to
sure.
say, bro, like I started in commercial refrigeration for a huge company out in the Tampa Bay area. It was a company who kind of just like sponsored my school and picked up apprentices and stuff. So when I was there, pretty much what you were just saying, Jason, right? Like it's
Hmm.
your one task. Like you don't. I mean, you don't really touch much outside of just like the HVAC portion of it. And even then,
Yeah,
when we did commercial refrigeration, when we would dive into the HVAC portion of it, it was very kind of minimal. So the opportunities there were a lot different than what I was seeing in school and stuff, because everything I was learning in school was residential stuff and light
yeah,
commercial, nothing refrigeration. So for a guy like me, I was in commercial. It was just like all this like craziness. I honestly didn't feel like I learned anything for like the 6 to 8 months I was there. As soon as I got into residential and kind of got thrown in the fire, I felt like I learned so much. Like, and now getting back into commercial, it's like a night and day difference. So,
Oh yeah.
like you were just saying, you hit the nail right on the head. So, yeah.
100%.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
that
I
it's
feel
field
like
experience. I mean, there's nothing you can do all the, classwork and there's nothing against going to trade school because you're gonna get that other bit of the information, the technical. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times when you're learning in the field, I learned from, my old head. He's definitely never went to trade school, so they kind of just give it to you like that beer can cold. They don't really have the numbers and the
Yep.
formulas worked out, so they kind of just that you got to have that mixture of
Uh,
both, that technical aspect. You
yeah.
do need to kind of maybe open up a book, or there's not really people reading books these days, but get on YouTube, go watch AC service tech, go listen to Craig, learn a couple of things about just the technical aspect. But then you got to get in the field and just get that experience. You got to go screw a couple of things up, and that's the best way to
100%.
learn, I think. I've
I think
messed up
so
my
too,
fair
bro.
100%.
share.
I think so too, bro.
sure.
100%. Amir joined the chat. We're holding it down. Yes, sir, bro.
Yes,
We holding it down,
sir.
bro.
Reza
Yes.
dog.
So Israel
Yes.
said, "What's the most important thing to learn coming up?" So he's probably talking about like a lot of changes happening up in our industry. What are the new, the most important things to learn up on? I mean, I think obviously we have the change with A2L refrigerant. I mean, that's like the
Yeah, it
biggest
was
change
huge.
that came in our industry
Yeah,
right now. So I would say
that was
probably
big.
learning more about that, and things that you, because stuff is different. Things you can or can't do, certain code requirements and stuff like that. But yeah, that would probably be the biggest one. What do you guys think?
And heat
I
pumps for
mean,
sure.
heat
Yeah,
pumps, those are
heat
definitely the new
pumps.
way. Everybody wants to go with heat pumps,
Guys,
you
I've
know.
been doing this for. Were heat pumps really not a thing like on your guys' parts of
They
the
just started
states?
popping up a lot. I feel like because
Eh,
Andrew deals with them
Really,
every day, like for a while. They're popular
bro? Yeah,
in
yeah, they're weird if I'm
Florida.
Oh
not
yeah.
dealing with them. Yeah,
Yeah, in
I
Florida.
mean, I'm
it's either
installing
a
heat
straight cool
pumps
or a heat
almost
pump here.
weekly for sure. Yeah,
Oh
we're
yeah.
everybody, especially on larger applications, people want to, people, those businesses, they can see the benefits and the efficiency from heat pumps. Nobody wants to go with, dirty gas these days.
Yep. 100
they've
percent,
they've
man.
been out there for years, but I feel like they're
Yeah.
they're more popular now.
They are. They are.
No, they're
California's
definitely
really
coming.
pushing them.
Hey, I have a question for you guys though, as you guys have probably seen about 10 times the amount of furnaces I've ever touched. Do you like the science behind the furnaces and stuff like that? Is it more efficient up north because of how it produces heat compared to like in Florida? Well, we have heat pumps, so it's different. But there are still units out here in Florida that are straight cools that use electric heat that don't use a like the gas and all that kind of stuff. So that's the pretty much the main reason. Like if you were to compare a straight cool to a furnace, it would be that the furnace provides better efficiency because it uses gas.
I mean, if you're using a heat pump without the heat strips, without the what you were just saying right now,
Yeah.
it's pretty efficient without the heat strips.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
just using the refrigeration
Uh,
cycle. But if you're
mm.
comparing it to a furnace, like
Yeah,
a like
like the
a
like electric heat to a furnace.
yeah,
That's what I
so
mean.
okay, so we'll talk about like the comfort levels first before we get into like efficiency. Like the comfort, you're gonna feel a lot more comfort coming from the furnace because the furnace, it's gas, it's instant
It
heat,
burns hotter.
it burns hotter,
Mm,
and you're gonna
mm,
feel a lot more comfortable. The heat pump,
mm.
it's gonna gradually, you're not gonna get that instant heat. It's gonna take a little longer, but it's still
It's a
pretty,
trade-off.
yeah,
Efficiency comes with a trade-off.
a
Yeah.
hundred
Well,
percent.
that's what I tell a lot of customers too. Like in Florida, if it gets to 40 degrees, it's Antarctica all of a sudden. So
Yep.
when I tell
Yeah,
them
they're
they turn on their
definitely
heat
not
pump,
suited for cold weather.
yeah,
No.
no, it's
Yeah.
not. And like what I try to tell them too, heat pumps they work the best here, because I want to say some of them, or depending how you could do it, you could if it gets like to a certain temperature, the heat strip will turn on too with the refrigeration cycle going in reverse.
Stage
I
two.
wouldn't.
So then
Mm.
it could try to like keep up. It's not like a setting where it runs continuously. It's like when it gets to a certain temperature point where it's too cold, it'll turn on the heat strip to then
Mm,
help. And then once it gets
bro,
to a certain set
in
point, it turns off and just uses the
in
refrigeration cycle.
Florida, in Florida
Yeah.
or out here, I wouldn't even put a heat strip. Like out here, we don't do heat strips at all. We just
Really?
yeah, at all because
We
heat
put
strips
heat
is
strips in
what
every single unit.
really that's what will raise your
Yeah.
bill. That's what will make it inefficient and
Well,
make it
yeah,
more
that's
expensive.
with the straight cools. Like we have units in Florida that are straight cool units that don't have a reversing valve that are literally
Oh, I got
just
you.
yeah. So it would be like
Oh,
no reversing valve, straight cool,
with a
and
heat
then it has
strip.
a heating strip. Or we have heat pumps with a reversing valve and a heat strip. So then it has
Gotcha.
W2 if, God forbid your reversing valve, breaks or whatever the case is, and all you have is your
Ah,
heat strip.
I see
That's
what
what
you're
it's supposed to
saying.
act as.
I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's weird,
Yeah.
man. That's why when I see you guys out there, I'm like, man, it's so different.
Yeah. Unknown said how Jason said most stuff we don't touch, so there is certain stuff I haven't touched that is in residential side. I would be a daily thing to touch. I'm having trouble transfer the knowledge. Yeah, bro, it's
Oh my, I'm getting roasted in the comments, huh?
no, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. He's saying how like he's having trouble transferring that knowledge, and yeah, it's I don't know. I've never been in that situation where I've learned, commercial and I'm trying to make that transition, I don't really know how to speak on that. But
Do you want to do commercial E, or would you ever do anything with commercial?
yeah, I've done
Yeah.
commercial. I've done it like for
You
the
like it?
crunch. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I like residential though. I like it a lot. I feel like I learn a lot for sure. Ariel
So,
s- Ariel said I was working in residential HVAC for about a year as an installer, but just recently got into the sheet metal union. Any advice on how to adjust from non-union to union? I mean, I feel like
ooh,
union is a great
Yikes.
position. No, like, have you been in union, Jason?
No, I
Michigan
haven't been in the
recently.
union, but my pops, all my brothers, my three brothers and my dad, they're all union tradesmen. So they've been basically like always kind of beaten out. Like they always try to, let me know about the benefits of going union. And there is a ton. I mean, like I said, they all have full families. So, having multiple kids, I know the medical benefits. Union, I mean, union is great for a lot of things. You get those high profile projects, uh, colleges, hospitals, courthouses. Those are the things that they're doing. Stadiums, arenas. Those are the union jobs for sure. So, I mean, I it's one of those things. If you're gonna start young and at our age and put in that 25 years and really build up that equity in it, then it's for sure a great choice. Like
Yeah,
there's really no I don't know why people have make it such a division between like union guys are this or non-union guys suck. So it's like it's
Hundred
a little
percent.
bit of both. Yeah.
yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the same page as you. It's a great way. It's a great career too, opportunity union. But yeah, you got to put some time in to really like climb
It's
that
all
ladder.
time.
Climb that ladder. Yeah,
It's all
I mean
time, just
that.
hours. Your raises, sorry to interrupt, your raises are
Yeah.
all kind of structured. You can't, if you're just
Yep.
an overperformer, you can't go in there to your boss and just say, hey, I'm overperforming the rest of the crew. It's
Exactly.
basically just all a tier system, tiers. And so, but you do have that mixture like of being in the field, not necessarily a trade school, but you're basically, I know a lot of unions for like electrical and whatnot, they'll be in the field and then they get to go to the class for like a week straight and then
Yep.
they go back in the field for a few months and then they go back in the classroom. So that definitely could have its benefit for sure. You're
For
getting the
sure.
real technical knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. I agree for sure. Um, Total HVAC was saying that you need heat strips on a heat pump below 26 degrees. I believe in furnaces,
Yep. Yeah.
heat so much quicker and at negative temps. I believe. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
It
Cord.
never gets that cold though.
Nah,
But
not
yeah,
over there, huh?
not for
Where you're
Florida.
at,
Yeah,
but in
yeah,
Northern California, I
yeah.
know you're in like SoCal, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
in Northern California, I mean, it gets cold when it gets below 40 degrees. I mean, there's just no heat in the air. There's no heat to
Yep.
pump, so it, but for the, 80-90% of the time, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these homes, I mean, builders, they're not trying to run, they want to go electric everything. They want to go electric stove, electric all
Yep.
appliances. So, I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
they make
Corb
gas seem bad, especially in California.
Corbin
I mean,
asks,
both
"Have y'all
gas.
ever seen a heat pump hooked up on a furnace?" Yes.
Bro, I read this comment like 10 minutes ago. I was like, what the heck? I've never seen that.
Really? No.
A
Yeah.
heat pump condenser hooked to a furnace.
I
I
installed
mean,
one
I
in
guess
one
you
of my
could do it.
videos. Yeah. We installed one in one of my
But
videos, but
what's the point? I feel like in my mind, wouldn't
oh
it
wait,
be cheaper to put in
yeah.
a normal, right?
I don't know. I think it's for people who want to keep the furnace. I forget the one we installed. It wasn't a furnace. It looked like a furnace, but it had none of the like, heat
Hmm.
exchange or anything in it. But I don't know. I've seen it. Like
Yeah.
I've seen heat pumps get connected to a furnace, and the furnace is like a backup heat, and they just use
Hmm.
the heat pump and heat and cool.
Yeah.
I've seen
But
it.
to be fair, I've hooked up a heat I've hooked up where I've had applications where we've installed a heat pump unit, but I think we wired it as a straight cool or something like. I couldn't remember why though. There was like some weird or like I don't even remember. It was a while ago, but yeah, similar where it was just like it used it and it just didn't make sense and yeah.
Yeah. Total
Hmm.
HVAC said, I work in Central Florida where they have furnaces and heat pumps. Best of both worlds. Nice. Yeah, they
Total, I
got both.
gotta check
They
out
got
where
both
you're
out
at.
there. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I think I've seen like 3 furnaces and I've worked in Florida for 2 years.
3
HVAC. So
furnaces? That's
Wow.
nothing. That's crazy,
I've
bro.
made I just like throw around. I'll just say 5, but definitely like
Okay.
not more than that. Yeah.
Wow.
Torres said, I work in Philadelphia and heat pumps really suck during the harsh, icy winters. So half the
I would
time,
imagine.
it's just the heat strips that are keeping customers warm. I gotcha. I
Dang.
wonder how
Yeah, I can
cold it
imagine.
gets out there.
Well, not
Philadelphia.
only that though.
It
Not only that though.
doesn't get too cold.
It's also the defrosting too. Like if it doesn't go into defrost, your condenser is a block of ice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like or like how he just said, how cold it gets, or the icy winter and stuff like that. Like it might not even be able to keep up
That's
without the heat
true.
strip. And then at that point, like you might as well put a furnace.
Facts. Watching
You
on
know.
the Stairmaster after my workout. Let's go, bro. Gio's at the gym grinding, bro.
That's dedication right there.
Yes, sir. Heck yeah, bro. Let's go. Dual fuel. Yeah, that's what it's called. Is dual fuel. Is I think that's what he's saying. That's what it's called when you have
Yeah,
the
dual
heat
fuel.
pump
Yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah. Yes. He said he's done one. Yes. I mean it's out there. People do it. Yeah. 100%, bro. Heck yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
couple questions though for you. I mean, so like
Yeah.
you guys just started out your business, like I was saying earlier. I mean, I've thought about people have always told me, you should look into doing your business. A lot of you could get something off the ground. You just start it now. Like, what is the hardest part? What would you say is the hardest part about like running your own business? I mean, with all the risk on your shoulders and all the profits as well. But like, what would you say is like probably the hardest part at the moment, or not at the moment, but in general,
Yeah.
people that something that they wouldn't think about maybe.
Ryan, wanna tap in on this and I'll go after you?
Sure. Um, I would say it's like you have to be on top of everything at the same time. You have to do all the paperwork, keep up with your clients, do the scheduling, send out quotes, you're doing everything all at once. So making sure all the units are installed properly. Um, callbacks. So you're basically like you have to do it all yourself, not like you're just like at a job, you're just being sent there. You gotta do it and forget about it. No, if you're installing a system, you have to like do it right the first time to eliminate the callbacks, and
Yeah.
you always have 100 other things on your mind, like checking up on your other guy at a job site or making sure you have all the materials. Let's say it's a Friday, I mean, or a Saturday, and the supply house is closed the next day. You got to make sure you have all the materials to complete that job the next day. Because if you got to come back on a Monday and you had other jobs planned already, that messes up your whole schedule. So it's like little things like that. If you're not on schedule, it can mess up your whole week, and then you have to start rescheduling. People are not available, and it just leads to
Domino
cancellation,
effect.
stuff like that. Yeah.
100%, bro. I agree. And I know out here in California where I'm at, it's a very competitive market. So there in my, the city, inland empire where I'm at, there's over like 900 HVAC companies and it's very competitive. So you're dealing with people who are like handymans who got their C20 and they're charging very cheap to get the job and get the job done. So it's very competitive in that aspect. And then when you are, I feel like at the point to scale and scale your business, and you're spending some money on marketing and stuff like that, it gets scary because a lot of like marketing companies would it's hard to deal with them because who do you trust? A lot of these marketers have a very bad reputation, so it's kind of like you got to be on top of them and stuff. So that's what I've seen a lot throughout the companies I've been at, and personal experience is like you got to be on top of that and stuff. So, and then I think the biggest thing, bro, when you're starting a company is debt. As long as you don't have a lot of debt or any debt, you're chilling. I've seen companies go down because of debt and they can't make it. They don't sell anything that week, or it could take 3 weeks. It could take a week where you don't sell anything and you're already in the red because you have debt, you have bills every
Hmm.
single week.
Facts.
I've been places where the upkeep was 15,000 a week. So in order to stay afloat, they had to make 15,000 a week. And you don't sell that week, then you're like in the red. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
difficult out
crazy.
here. Yeah, but it's difficult out here, but you got to scale at your pace, bro. So if you're your one man, if you're by yourself, if you're it's just you, you just gotta enjoy it. That's where you're gonna make a lot of your money by yourself. When you start scaling, getting employees, obviously your overhead goes up, but then you have to adjust your pricing higher, stuff like that, so you can make more money and not just be stuck at where you were before. But yeah, bro, I think
100%.
scaling, not try not to grow fast. That's what will like take you down is just trying to grow fast. You got to grow at your
Yeah.
pace. Obviously, you want to grow, and you're gonna take some risks, which in every business you are. But it's like being naive and be like taking out a
Make
two
it
hundred thousand dollar
organic.
loan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 And to piggyback off of UE, the best quote that I always think about too, and that's talked about is stay small enough long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough.
Yep.
So don't try
Facts.
to scale,
I
don't try to
like
get the
that.
boats,
Wow.
the jet skis. I see all these, my boss says it too, and all these, HVAC contractors out here who get their license and they buying the jet skis, the trucks, the cars, or this or that. That's cool, bro. You look cool to everyone else. Your bank account's hurting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you're stressed at night and you can't sleep next to your wife because you got $40,000, $100,000, $200,000 in debt, however much, So
Yeah.
it's not the world you want to live in. Just like E and J's and we're all saying is scale
Yep.
at a careful pace. Don't just jump the gun and go crazy and
Yeah.
consume all this debt.
But like for you, Jason, if you're thinking about doing it, bro, like send it, bro. I would say like while you're employed, just like start dealing with the stuff that you would like, get the van while you're still
Yep.
employed. Obviously you have your tools, make sure you got all your tools. And then just like the simple stuff like that. Because I had a homie who opened his own thing, but then like he didn't have all the tools he needed. So boom, that's 7 grand already started in debt.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to start with debt. So while you're employed, build it all up. So when you're ready, you got everything, maybe build some
Preparation.
clientele. Exactly. Prepare is like
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing. And then like YG is talking about is the brand name and the marketing, the image. Do you think it's important? I think it's very important. The name you choose,
Absolutely.
the logo you choose, because if you pick a name or a logo that doesn't stand out, doesn't tell people who you are, what you do, um, you're gonna pay for it because you're gonna pay a lot more in marketing, Google advertisements. You're gonna have to spend so much money to get your name out there. But if from the very start you got your name right, you got your logo right, your design right, then you won't have to put as much money in marketing because your brand will do the job for you. Your brand will do the talking for you. So that's a thing that's overlooked. A lot of people don't even think about that. They just slap their logo up in Canva, you know what I mean? But you got to invest and get it all dialed in right so that you're not overspending in marketing.
Yeah, it's about separating yourself. I mean, there's a lot of guys, like you said, especially California, across the country. I mean, there's the competition is out there for sure, and not all these businesses are as ethical, as somebody like you or Ryan. Like a lot of these businesses are cutthroat. They're doing sometimes nasty things. I mean, those things you hear about, like these tactics to get jobs where they're pulling out wires. I mean, you hear these things, and it's like, people will get over on an 80-year-old woman and hit her with the replacement when it was, a capacitor, and she'll never know.
Yep.
And it's, it's $1,000 in your pocket after all said and done. And she's happy and you're happy, but it's just like it's wrong. And so those people are out there, and those are the people you're competing with. So it's just being able to set yourself apart, the van, being able to be professional. I mean, that's everything. And then just to go back to what you said, like, people flexing all the cars or buying all this. Like, I saw something that was similar to that, and it was like, a flex to me is like, how many work trucks do you have, or how many employees do you
How
have?
many employees?
You
Yeah,
know what I
how many
mean?
people are
Like,
you feeding at night?
yeah,
Yeah, I've
like
seen
how
that.
many
Yep,
people there's,
yep,
like, like, you don't think
yep,
about it. Like, I
yep.
appreciate my boss, a lot, because you just think about like what's on their mind. Like, you just expect to get I expect to get a text for my next day of work, and then I do the work, and when the job's done, I just expect to get another text for the next job. But like, the bosses, the project managers, and in this case you guys are the ones trying to like make sure that the Christmas presents are being bought, and making sure there's food on the table for families. A lot of times, the you guys are the males, the guys bringing home the money, or whoever, like you could be the person that's being relied on, so you
100%.
just
I like that
it's
post
a
you
lot of
made. You
pressure.
you made that post about acting like you're working like you're the owner,
Yeah.
something like that, right?
The best employees act like owners, and the best owners act like employees, so you
So
just don't
facts.
ever just get out of your shoes. And it made me think about, yeah, like my boss, he's been pretty, he's never uh felt like a boss. He felt like
Yep.
pretty cool. He can tell us what we need to know and whatnot, give us deadlines and whatnot, but he's never just been like riding our ass just because he is the boss. And I think over the years, that's why we've developed kind of a tight knit crew where I'm at.
Nice.
So
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I love that quote
yeah.
for sure, bro. I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
So let me answer a question here. Gio asked, how did you guys start your first solo job, like your side hustle? What was the service you did? I mean, I think for like a lot of us, I mean, for me personally, the first service I did was like the small jobs where it's like, it's a capacitor, it's a
Yeah.
maintenance, a cleaning, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's how you
Yeah.
really get your foot in the
You
door
have to
to start
start
work.
there. Nobody's
Yeah.
Yeah.
first job was a compressor change out,
No.
like that was nobody's
100%.
first thing on day one,
Nope.
so for
100%.
sure,
Yeah.
gotta just start
Um.
small.
Yeah, exactly. You start small. How do you guys feel?
I,
How do y'all's company feel about you doing side jobs? I mean,
yeah,
you
that's
what do
a
you got?
touchy subject. I mean, for me, just like like a lot of times, on these big commercial job sites, there would be you guys probably run into this a lot, a lot as well, but there would be other trades and whatnot, and when they're reaching out to you, that could be your boss's work or whatnot. And so you kind of just, especially like having a work truck and a work van, like how did the bosses feel about, taking your work truck? Because nobody's going to throw their tools out of the work truck, or at least I don't. Like to go do a side job, I need to take my work truck to go do
Yeah.
that side job. So again, so it's a mixture, mostly all your own tools, but there are some pieces of your own equipment that you have to use, whether that's like if you have company owned, vacuum pumps or things like that, you kind of got to make sure you're not, doing none of that. But it could be. I now that I think about it on the residential side, if they say, "Hey, have they ever approached you guys and said, "Hey, would you be able to do that on the side?" I know people
Oh
have
yeah.
asked that for sure.
100%, bro. Yeah, 100%. It
Hmm.
all comes down to the respect that you have for the company, bro. Hey, you got to
Yeah.
respect
Yeah.
the person who's feeding you. Can't be taking jobs
Hmm.
like
Dude,
that from them. You know what I
100%.
mean?
No.
So yeah,
Dude, there's so much money in HVAC and opportunity, honestly, that if you're cutthroat like that, and I understand some people might not like where you work at, and cool, go find somewhere else, but don't be grimy and steal customers, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
the first thing I always tell a customer, because I've had it, I go and call my boss, I joke around, I'm like, hey, I got poached again, someone tried to get me. I'm like,
Mm.
I respect my boss to the point. It's just like
Yeah.
I can't even. I don't know. I just can't sleep at night when people move like that. Like I don't know like how
You won't
people move like
last.
that. I can't sleep at night. And literally like for side jobs, I know that the question was like my boss is like if I call him, hey boss, family friend, this is the situation. All right, cool. You're taking the truck. How far is it? Da, da, da. If it's like kind of out the way, like a little too much, I'll top off the gas and help it out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Obviously, but like he doesn't charge me a dime. Like he
that's
really like.
fire.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's like I did a compressor change out on the side. Of course, I gave him money for refrigerant. I gave him money for gases and stuff like that. Like like it was his property, so like I was kind of still under him, but doing it for my family friends. So
Yeah,
but again, like I even from social media to side jobs, I've never heard a complaint, a
that's
peep,
good.
stop doing that, anything.
Yep,
So
that's a good
grateful,
boss for sure, bro. That's
grateful,
awesome.
grateful. Yeah.
Well,
Fire.
yeah, I mean, good workers are hard to come by. I mean, like that truly is a thing. Like good workers like yourself and like, like a lot of our peers and whatnot, good workers are hard to come by. I mean, my boss is constantly cycling through just like knucklehead people, that you just know they're not going to last. They're not serious about it. I mean, not saying you need to invest your whole, life if HVAC's not going to be your career, your whole investment, but you need to at least take it seriously because I mean, I take it seriously, so it's like we're all trying to get, a
100%.
project done, so it's like it's got
100%.
to be on top of it.
And I think newer apprentices and people coming into the trade, I think they in like from what I take out of the DMs and stuff that I get sometimes is they they equal being a good employee to knowing everything. That's not what a good worker is, at least in this field. A good worker is someone who shows up and wants it. You don't have to know everything. No one asked you to know everything. No one asked you to go do a solo install on your first day. Be prepared. Come to work with your tools, your phone down, your head up,
Yeah.
and ask questions and be ready for work. Take it serious. You don't need everything. I had all my tools from Amazon. Like, it wasn't the fact that I needed the best tools. I needed to know everything. I just needed to show up and tell them I wanted to do this, that I wanted it. And that's all that they
100%.
look for. And as you grow, you're going to learn every single bit of HVAC as you go. And still, 25 years later, 30 years later, you're still not going to know everything. There's going to be new stuff every single couple years,
Absolutely.
every year, every month. I mean, so it definitely stacks, right? Your skill sets and what you know, but I mean, you're always learning.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%, bro.
Big
Snow King
facts.
of HVAC, Logan is up in here. What up, bro? Welcome.
What
Um,
Yo,
up?
are you guys? Let's see. All about leaving a positive mark on each person you meet? 100%, bro. Um,
Spread
Rowan
the love for
asked.
sure.
Yep, Rowan asked. Did any of you guys have a crazy job where you would have to change out 10 or more, than 10 package units in one day? I mean,
ooh,
I've had a job where it was like I think 7 package units, not 10, but it was like 7 package units in one day.
damn, I want to get a job like that. We must have
Well, I
done
mean,
it
yeah,
those
like
too.
changing out 20 units in a day. I mean, it's like, I mean, you could surely we could. I mean, I've been on jobs where we've set 25 units,
Not like
set 30
wire,
units, but
plumb.
like you can't, I mean, like how, like that would be a massive, like million square foot building. I mean, there's like, you'd be, it takes a long time just to get equipment set up. If you're not using a helicopter, I mean, to set 25 units on a large building like that, I mean, a crane has to set up, takes an hour to maybe set up. They're gonna set 5 or 6 units, then they have to reposition on that end. That takes an
Yep.
hour to bust down the crane, an hour to just to move 50 feet, just to set back up for an hour, drop 5 more units. So I mean, there's definitely those big jobs, and that's what I like about commercials. You get to have those insane jobs like that, helicopter sets like you
Hmm.
guys have seen on my stuff before. I
I'm
mean,
trying to I'm trying to get on your level, bro.
That's
The day I
it.
that
do a
there's
helicopter install,
nothing
bro, I
funner.
made it.
Like there is nothing funner. And it's actually funny when I first started, so I've been in the trades in HVAC 6 years. I think it was like on my first month, I got a text to go on a helicopter set.
Oh,
And so
that's
I was just
sick.
like, there's not a lot of stuff in HVAC that'll really get like your adrenaline going, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
of course, like, there's a lot of stuff that, can get you worked up, but just to get your adrenaline flowing like that, a helicopter 50 feet above your head is
Oh
just,
my
is
gosh. Oh
super
my
Bro,
gosh.
that's
legit,
That's
sick.
like
dropping
there's
a
no,
unit, bro. I
you
can't even
can't hear
imagine.
nothing. You can't hear nothing. Everything is just the washed out from the helicopter. It's intense. It's fun, super, but
That's
it happens
awesome.
so fast. Like you thinking about it, and then boom, it's a 3 minute process, and then it's over, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Cool.
bro.
Midday,
On to the next,
midday.
boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That would be sick
Charlie, my
experience.
boy.
Charlie, what up, bro? What up? What up?
Hey, Charlie, what up, man?
So,
C2 said going to an HVAC trade school in late May. Any advice for a
Ooh,
newcomer into the field? Nice, bro. Let's go.
Let's get
Newcomer
yeah.
advice
it.
for a newcomer coming to the field, bro. I mean, I feel like for trade school, bro, and I know Andrew went to trade school, and it's like, what do you think when coming to trade school, trying to soak everything up? Like, what's your advice to him?
So, all right. So I'll try to make it a long story short. I know Jason briefly had talked like a little bit, kind of he had said something about trade school. Honestly, trade school, if you're not going to trade school to like literally like be that annoying, obsessed student, don't go. Just go find an apprenticeship or go in the, just union route or whatever, whoever will hire
Get the
you
field
without school.
experience.
Because if you don't go to school like obsessed and like really wanting to learn, like it's a waste of time. I watch the kids sit there through an entire, I don't even know how they pass them. I think it's like maybe a school percentage thing, but sit there and just do nothing. And then at the end, they're like, man, I didn't even learn anything. And I'm just like, you didn't open a book, bro. You're not going to learn anything. And then it's, oh, I didn't learn anything in trade school. Oh, this program sucked. No, if your teacher is showing up every day and standing in front of the class and talking, there's something in the middle that's not aligning. So trade school, if that's the route you want to go take, be ready to go in and be obsessed and be annoying. Ask questions. Be that student that everyone's like, oh, this guy again. Do it, bro. Because when you get in the field, you're gonna see how far you have separated yourself from everyone else.
Yeah,
You gotta just
facts.
make the most of it while you're there for sure. Don't
Yep.
waste an opportunity. If you're there, if you're gonna pay the
Exactly.
money, you're around smart people. I
Exactly.
mean, a lot of those teachers
Exactly.
and stuff they've been in the trade 30, 40 years. Like I said, the guys
Hmm.
like out there, Craig, I've always mentioned him because AC Service Tech. I don't know if you guys have
Yep.
watched his videos on YouTube. I mean,
Oh,
that's a good
yeah.
spot to start. I mean, if you're just getting into the trade, go spend a couple hours just watching that, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
you'll definitely learn. But
Hundred
definitely.
percent.
I know that wasn't
For
Yep.
sure
sure.
exactly what his question was,
100%.
but
I agree. Let's see. Commercial is lit, especially when you're servicing a food place. They sometimes surprise me with like free food. Heck yeah, we like that.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Gio said currently switching from being a residential installer apprentice to a commercial service tech for a university. I'm excited, but for
oh
sure a
wow,
little nervous. Heck yeah, bro, that's awesome.
Wow.
Me
I
That's
too.
awesome,
I
bro.
feel like
Heck yeah.
we got a mix of different people, like commercial switching to residential, residential switching to commercial. It's awesome. It
Mm.
it it's all cool, bro. It's all you're gonna learn so much from
Yeah.
residential, commercial, either or. But
And and I'm in the process of working with a few property management companies to like
nice,
branch off more to commercial as well.
You're
nice.
a dog,
Heck yeah,
Ryan.
bro. Heck yeah, that's
yeah, you
awesome.
gotta you gotta invest in everything. I mean, just like going from just being a tradesman to doing content. It's just every avenue you could pick up to better yourself. And just monetize it, make money. I mean, that's the name of the game. So any sort of side businesses. Investments, those are all just things that you need to look into in order to
Yep,
develop your craft for sure. Going from
100%.
residential, commercial, going into service, going into different types of installs. I mean, there's a whole world of stuff in HVAC. I mean,
Yeah,
I never been working on boilers, chillers, stuff like that. There's just a whole nother aspect, that
so much to
you're
learn.
never gonna be able to know it all for
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
so
guys are in
much.
the trade 35 years and they're still learning. I mean, we're going
Every
to
day.
A2L now. The old school guys they just were getting used to 410 from R22. So it's like it's gonna
Yeah.
change again. It's never gonna stop changing for sure. So it's
Yep.
just you'll have to be willing to. One of the biggest skills I tell people is like it's not knowing the information. It's being the skill is being able to find the information.
Yeah.
So like you sometimes you get a unit or whatever it is. You show up, they get a with a box of parts and whatnot, and it's time. You have to be able to just find that information, whether it's online or in the manuals. I mean, that's like the main thing. I mean, nobody likes to read black and white service manuals and whatnot,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's where the information. You got to definitely
It
go
is
seek out the information for sure.
100%. How is the Milwaukee recovery tank? I haven't used it. Have you used it, Andrew?
No, I haven't used it yet. No.
Not yet, not yet. Yeah, I
Man,
No.
literally just
I'm
got it.
curious.
I know I gotta use it. Hopefully I can probably get to use it this week. See what it's about. I'll make a video about it for sure, bro. But yeah, I'm curious too, bro. I'm excited to use it, man. It'd be sick. Cleaner or no cleaner on condenser coils?
Cleaner.
Cleaner for
No.
sure.
Some stuff,
Viper
no. Micro
cleaner.
channel. If you are gonna use cleaner, it's Viper for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%, bro.
It's honestly it's just because it's none of it's corrosive. Like the
Yeah.
other brands that I won't throw shade to, it, it it could definitely mess up those coils like everyone talks about. But Viper
Don't
is
Yeah,
eat your
definitely the
yeah.
only one where it's definitely safe.
yeah. Viper is
Yeah.
solid for sure. So yeah, if you're
I
using a
remember.
cleaner, Viper.
Yeah, a
That
lot of equipment though. I don't know if it like goes for residential, but there's like a lot. There's a bunch of types of equipment where people, manufacturers, require you not to do that. Like
yeah, yeah,
micro channel stuff. I know,
yep,
that's a lot of the stuff I was just doing. So you definitely
yes,
want to just make sure you know your equipment before you go putting anything on there. Now, of course, Viper, like I said, Viper is makes a lot of products that are good with all sorts of equipment. So
yep.
definitely just make sure you know what you're working on for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Danny said, "What kind of gauges are y'all rocking right now?" I'm rocking the S-Man field piece gauges, and then the wireless probes. But yeah, that's what, I forget the name of them, but yeah, What about you guys?
I was laughing last week. I remember you were saying I was in the comments and I was like, I still use my analogs every single day. And I remember
Yeah.
you were saying something like, I don't even have them or I don't even use them ever. And I'm like, I have a set of digital gauges in my truck and I literally have probably used them twice, 2 or 3 times. I'm
Really?
analog like all day. Yeah,
Really?
for sure.
You're using
But
analogs.
it's not for any reason other than like that's what I originally bought, and I still have my same set of gauges for like 5 years, just the
Gotcha.
same yellow jacket gauges. But I am definitely seeing whether I want to go the Navac, but I do, everybody swears by S-Man. So I'm like, is that the route I should go? I know Navac got some new gauges that are coming out, some new digitals, kind of some compact stuff. So I'm like, do I want to go that route? It's kind of between those two, it's always, everything's a toss up always for me between Navac and Philpiece.
Yeah, for sure. What about you
Mm.
guys?
I'm rocking field
I
piece.
What was
Go.
that?
What you say, Ryan?
I said I'm rocking field piece.
Nice. Yep.
You.
The
I
digitals or
Oh
I
yeah,
I
that's a
have
good point.
both the analog and digital.
the new analogs that just kind of came out?
Nice
Is that the
analogs.
ones? Yeah, see
Yeah,
those look super clean with that dial on it. So you can kind of, is that like for a
Yeah.
pressure test kind of? So you can kind of
yeah.
know if you ever get like a little
Yeah,
drop. I was like, that's a pretty slick feature. Like again, you just those little features, you're like, why did nobody come out with that? But you're like, okay, I could use that.
Facts. Andrew?
I have a pair of those wireless probes, and then lately, I mean, I always find myself, especially like when I'm charging units and stuff like that, and I know people they make jokes about I'm an analog guy. I don't like if I was today to go buy a pair of gauges, I'd go buy analog gauges. I know it sounds
Yes,
crazy,
sir.
and I
No,
think
it's
the only
not.
reason that would get me to buy digital is because they have like that 4 port, but I even see that some, analogs have the 4 port too now. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
I gotta dive into those Malco Edge ones I just got. I'm excited. They're clean look. I
Yep.
like the hose design and everything like that, but I haven't got to hook them up yet.
Fire.
They do got
Heck
some
yeah,
fire
bro.
hoses for sure.
Oh,
Nice. What's your favorite like system? They're asking Goodman, York, Carrier, Bryant to work on. What do you guys think?
Goodman.
To work on or to install?
I mean, he's just
Because those are
asking
two
in
different
general.
things.
I think he's
Wait,
asking
hold
in
on. Say
general,
that.
but
What was the question?
who's your favorite Goodman, York, Carrier, Bryant? But we could talk about like probably to install. I think that makes more
Oh,
sense.
okay. So out of those options, yeah. Well,
Carrier.
I mean, just for
I
me, out
like
of those,
carrier.
like I don't like, and so in commercial stuff, we have like a lot of like, basically contracts or whatever. So like, I don't get to work on a lot of Goodman, York, Carrier,
Mm.
Bryant stuff. I do a lot of. So we do install a lot of Lennox stuff. I know everybody hates on Lennox, but we do install a lot of Lennox stuff. But mostly
How the
like Daikin.
coils?
I mean, Daikin and LG.
Mm.
You ask my service department about that.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
know they call them leaky Linux all day, but for me, I mean, as far as the stuff that I'm installing, VRV,
I'm
VRF
messing.
stuff, my favorite stuff
Yeah.
is probably like the funnest stuff for me is probably Daikin to
Okay,
install. But
nice.
out of those,
Sweet.
you guys have to tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
like I
love
like Goodman.
carrier. Carrier is great.
Carrier.
Yeah, it's
I
Goodman.
like yeah, I
You like
worked a
Goodman.
lot with Goodman and Carrier. I like both of them. I feel like they're easy to install when it comes to like straight
Yeah.
cools or even heat pumps. Both of them I'm happy with installing. They're chill. Yeah.
Yeah, Goodman's pretty straightforward. I like them too. They're cool.
What about you, Ryan? What are you rocking with?
yeah. I'm with Goodman.
Nice, nice. And then like at the end of the day, like it's obviously not about the brand or the system. It's how like you install it, the practices you
Yeah.
use, brazing with nitrogen. That's really going to determine if the system is a good system, if it's gonna last. It's all about that for
But the
sure.
question is,
Yep.
what system do you hate installing or working on the most?
Ooh, let's see.
Train. Working on though. I can honestly installing, I'll be honest, I don't think I don't have a preference. Like I could really like it's all the same. But
Yeah.
as far as working on it goes, train, I especially like black cabinet units and like those like zones, just like it gets on. Yeah, I hate train. I just don't like it. You go and you open a panel and the whole thing is a board about this big. You can't even replace like a cap on it. It's like what am I doing here? Like
That's funny. I don't know. What the unit I least I don't like the most, it would probably be like, I don't know, an AC Pro system. Like I just don't like them. They just look ugly. I mean, that's like the only reason. Like they're all the same when it comes to installing it. But the AC, it's like
yeah,
it's Linux. It's Linux, but it's just like
that's
it's so bland.
hilarious.
There's no reason. I don't know. I feel like I haven't hated the system.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
all the
don't
same. I mean,
I
especially
don't
for
really
installing.
hate.
Yeah. Andrew, you need a refrigeration technology to make you can energy drink to make it facts, bro. Bro be drinking so many energy drinks too. It's perfect.
Oh, that's why, dude. 'Cause, I get people tagging me now.
I
They're like their
saw that.
morning energy drink. I love it. I
I
absolutely
saw it.
now. I get like I know energy drinks aren't the best, but I think it's just funny that people are like they're noticing that I do drink them.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
They're
The new nut.
concerned. Yeah, they're like they're for your well being. They're like you don't know. Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly.
Yeah, this guy he
I
sent me a
switched.
photo on Instagram. It was a burn mark on his hand about like this big
Ooh,
of like I guess he like got himself with a torch and then like a big can of like Monster Energy drink.
bruh.
And I'm like, bro, forget the drink. I'm like, what happened to your hand? He's like,
That's
oh, bro.
crazy.
He's like, yeah, it was so.
That's
He's
crazy.
good, so that's why it's funny. But yeah, it was like, holy cow.
Have you guys ever touched a car's AC? I
I
tried.
haven't.
I tried.
Did
My
you?
Yeah,
AC went out on one of my little cars, and I all I did was try to put that. I think it was just Freon,
Oh,
the
the
tank,
Little
coolant
charge
stuff.
the
bottle.
coolant stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
a
Uh,
it
little
could.
coolant. Yeah, I
There's
tried
too
that.
much
Yeah.
pressure in it. I couldn't even put
it
it in.
lasts
So
for a week.
nah, I couldn't even put
Mm.
it in there, bro. My compressor
Uh,
went out like after that,
mm.
and then the car took a crap. So then I just got rid of it. I'm great at not
What are some?
answering. Oh, that's you.
That's me. I was laughing because somebody was like, every time you ask a question, I'll go off on just some rant or tangent, but that's
Oh
what I'm great
yeah.
at. That's the ADD in me for sure.
It's all part of the pod. We all do
Absolutely.
it.
The Mr. Cools. Yeah, the ones at Home Depot, huh? Hey guys, so
The
my
Mr.
grandma
Cools. Oh my
has a
gosh.
mini split, and when you turn on the light from inside the house, the mini split turns off, and when you turn off the mini split, the lights from the house inside turn on. What the heck?
He's either trolling or there's something seriously wrong electrically in that house.
Yeah, there's got to be something
I
electrically
would call
wrong.
an electrician and maybe run. I don't know.
Well, he says when he turns on the unit, the lights turn off, so maybe the unit's drawing a lot of power, and like
But they stay off? Is that
I
what
don't
it
they
is? Or
know.
probably
they flicker?
they
Because if they flicker, that's I've seen that, but
Yeah, I don't know. That's
interesting.
interesting.
If they
Yeah.
stay off, that's
Sparky's fault.
interesting.
That's what I
Yeah.
always like to say
Oh,
on my job. Sparky's
oh,
fault.
he said I'm
they
not
probably
trolling.
were
Haha.
messing around
Dang,
with the
that's
panel.
crazy. Does it stay off or does it
I would call a
let's
technician,
see.
bro, for sure. That's
Yeah,
not
I'd
that's not normal.
call yeah,
He
it's
said I'm not
Daikin
sure.
Daikin has some great mini splits, and they are tanks but are tough to install.
Super easy. I mean, I love them. That's like the majority, 90% of the mini splits I'm doing, because every commercial, we're always doing a mini split because like every commercial job site has a data room and every data room needs a
Oh
mini
yeah.
split. So we're always just throwing in a little 1 ton, little Daikin in all these little spots. I love them. I mean,
that's
only
dope.
I probably like it just because I'm familiar with it. That's all what it's about, what you're familiar with. Everybody has their favorites or what they're familiar with, what they're comfortable doing. So
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true.
But you,
For
you
sure.
you can just never be intimidated when you see some new equipment. It's all pretty much the same process, same science, different sticker, different shape, different locations. Of course, some
For
shit's
real.
better than others, but
Yeah,
it's all
for
pretty
Real.
real.
much the same.
Yeah.
YG said, "Would a hard start or soft start help the flicker? It might, wouldn't it? Because doesn't that lower the amp draw on startup, so it, like eases it out or something? I would imagine that may help.
Mm,
Like a soft start, not a hard
it's
start. I think a soft start
it
would help.
sounds like it might make sense. It just depends though if he's saying the lights are staying off or I wonder because I've never seen it where someone turns their unit on and like the lights stay off. Like I've seen it flicker, I've seen it kind of, but I've never seen it stay off. Turn
Yeah,
on the mini split and the lights from inside the house turn off. And when I turn on the mini split, the lights from inside the house turn.
that's crazy. It, but
I
it's
gotta read this a
probably
couple of
just,
times.
it's probably just a wiring issue. I mean, like it's drawing too much power or something, right? Or would the breaker
And when
pop?
I turn on
I
the
don't know,
mini
bro. I
split
would
and the
I would
lights,
call
From
I
the
would call a
house to
company, and a company came out to my grandma's house and told her she needed a new system for 30K.
Uh,
Bro, get another company, get a small company, mom and pop shop to come out to really diagnose it and see like what's going
yeah,
on.
bro. That should be like 25K. 30K is way too much. I just buy. I just buy.
Oh, the break is being tripped. Yeah, facts, bro. Someone asked,
Sparky's
Sparky's
fault.
fault.
someone asked what the
That's funny.
best work vans in y'all opinions. So, what do you guys think? You guys, I'm sure have been in some work vans.
I think any
Man,
high roof
so
fan is great.
yeah, I remember we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and I was in the comments. I had the Mercedes van, and that's what I
Yep.
started off with, And
Oh yeah,
you were reading
Sprinter.
my comments. I don't know if it got misinterpreted, but yeah, basically, so I have my service van. I just had it like a year and a half. I had it brand new, off the lot. Like I remember getting it with like
Nice.
50 miles on it. Was super happy. It was
Sheesh.
the first work vehicle I ever got, and I was just super, super appreciative. Just and a year into it. I lived in an apartment complex, so I had a dedicated parking spot inside the apartments where my van, would be great. It was no problem. For one day, I decided to move my van out towards the street, where the guest parking is, so that I could bring my personal truck in there to kind of do some maintenance, wash it up. And in the hour that I moved my work van onto the street, some lady from out of state DUI, just completely, just like the one car on the road, there was like huge, the huge road smashed in the back of my van, totaled it.
Oh,
So ever since then, I got a truck after that, but I do miss my van. Every single day I crawl into the back of my truck to grab something. I'm like, I wish I had my van back. Absolutely. Because it's just
facts.
the
Uh,
truck. The truck does not even have half the storage of a van does. I know, Andrew, you just got a new van. Like, did you get your new van all
yeah.
set up yet and decked out yet?
Yeah, I got it set up and kind of organized. I was in a Transit Connect, so it's like pretty much an SUV of like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I switched into a Ford Transit, I think like the 150 or the F-150, whatever it's called, and that's been cool. But my boy, he just got a high roof van, and I see a bunch of other people with high roof vans. So like in the future, if I ever had to pick, I definitely want or Ewok too. You could do a backflip in his van. Like
Goaded
I wanna one
setup.
day I get a van like that.
It's
That's
fire.
the goaded setup.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I appreciate it, bro.
yeah.
It's still working on it. I'm sure you guys are working on yours. So, Andrew, it's a work in process, bro. It's like never done, bro.
I
It's
don't think it
Nah,
ever
yeah.
can end. I mean, like at least for me, and even just in my truck, like as the process changes, sometimes I'm in installs for a lot. I'm doing certain things. Your setup changes. You're like, wow, I've been doing a lot of maintenances lately. I'm kind of got this thing set up for this, so it's
Yep.
almost like it's ever changing. The setup. What's working best for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly for sure, bro. Every time I see a service truck, I see an old guy in there, but in the new vans and stuff, be seeing the youngins. That's funny.
Yeah,
Vans the way to go, bro. 100%. I
yeah.
would I would, bro. If I didn't have my van, bro, I love my
I
van,
don't
bro.
miss getting blown over, like going across these high bridges where we're ever at. I mean, I'm sure you guys got a ton of this stuff, just being just ripped, pulled all around the road, and especially in the
Oh
high bands
yeah.
like that. It's like a boat. It catches air like a
When it's
sail. It just will
windy,
blow you. It'll catch
yeah.
you off guard if you're just driving with one hand on the wheel and you're just not paying attention. All of a sudden, that wind comes in the work van.
Yep.
That'll wake you
It'll
up for
blow you.
sure.
It'll blow you for sure, bro. It's crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. And then Amir, I mean not Amir, Ryan,
yeah.
you just bought your GMC, huh?
Yeah, I have
You
the
just caught
Savannah, the cargo van.
nice. The
Nice.
GMCs are so reliable, bro. A lot of these
Ooh,
companies
yes.
out here, they double down on them because how reliable they are, and then when they break down, it's not like expensive like a Mercedes, you know what I mean? It's cheap to repair, you know? So, it's a good pick
I'm
for sure, bro.
I'm
Yep.
ready for a high
Absolutely.
roof already.
You ready for a high roof?
I'm
I
running out of
feel
space.
I feel you, bro. Bro, those Chevys, they're coming out with some Chevy high roofs, the electric
Really?
ones.
What?
Well,
Oh,
they're
electric?
already out. Yeah, they're electric though, but they're out. I see them. They're sick, bro. They got the roll up doors, so it rolls up like a garage door. It's pretty
Fire.
fire, bro. Yeah. But we're closing on an hour, bro. I think we're gonna close off the stream right here,
Yeah.
bro. It was a good stream. We had Jason
Oh
on the
yeah.
job on
I
the stream.
appreciate you guys, man. Sorry
Nah,
about the
bro.
audio and thing. We got that all worked out, but
I'm
that was
glad we
good.
got
Oh
That
yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, bro. We appreciate
I'm
you
always
stopping by,
tuned
bro.
in. Absolutely, guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Andrew, Ryan, we appreciate you pulling up. And Amir, he couldn't make it with us
Mirror in
today.
spirit, bro. I miss
Yes,
you,
sir.
But
dog.
he's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe
Alright, guys.
travels
bro.
for sure.
Yeah.